Hello and welcome to Season 3, Part 3. That is, check that out, that is the new sort of starting logo, little clip intro thing that I got from Share Factory. So that is great, and let's hope that can propel us to glory in this world. We are now at the Formula Rookie World Championships, and you can see, so this is qualifying. This is, well, it's not Suzuka, it's Sakito, but it's modelled very, very heavily on Suzuka. And we're on wet tyres, and you can see it's dry, so the entire qualifying session has been wet, and there was no time to go back in and put slicks on, and my tyres are massively overheating. You can see that in the bottom right hand corner, everything is red, and so we're trying to set a decent lap on wet tyres in the dry that are overheating, and it is proving incredibly difficult. You can see we're 11th, and that is gonna be where we finish. I think it's 12th that we qualify. So Ricardo De Rea takes pole. We are 11th. There you go. So a very unsuccessful qualifying, and yeah, as you might have seen in the previous videos, this doesn't line us up very well for the weekend at all, because I'm finding it incredibly difficult to race closely in these Formula Rookies with this Project Cars AI. But regardless, we are off the line and we move up to 10th, and we're going to heavily cover the inside just to make sure that no one throws it up the inside of us. Brake very early, just to be trying to be as cautious as possible, and get a really good run. And that caution, because we got a good run out of that corner, all the caution that I was just speaking of went completely out the window. We are now P16 after a slight tap to the car in front of us. I missed who that was, and this is not the way that you want a World Championships to start. You know, we've arrived here in Tokyo full of enthusiasm and hope, and we're going to go on the grass and try and squeeze back into 15th. That was and I think I'm throwing all caution to the wind. So as you can see, and a little wheel on the gravel, and then a foot on the throttle whilst we've got the wheel on the gravel. It takes us further into the gravel, and we're back in P16 by a couple of seconds. And yeah, obviously not how we wanted this to go, and I'm feeling a bit erratic now, and I think the frustration of those few errors and qualifying not really going that well sort of getting to me. But yeah, regardless, this is very heavily modelled. I assume they couldn't get the license for Suzuka in Japan, so they've invented Sakito, but this isn't the full Grand Prix circuit. This is sort of a sort of cut down. So all of this is part of the Grand Prix circuit. You've got these kind of S's at the start, which we are taking a little bit wide. But then I forget what they call it. Is it the Degner curves that we're coming up to? Something like that. Degner curves even, and which is one fast right-hander and one slower right-hander, which is here. Which you can take that very fast in Formula Rookies. It's quite fun, and then riding the curb as much as possible on the second. And yeah, this is where you cut off the second half of the Grand Prix track. A little wheel on the grass again, and the mistakes keep on coming. And then you've got this incredibly fast, which is very difficult in the Formula Rookie car. So Formula Rookies are very there's a lot of oversteer, so they're tuned up for oversteering. That sort of quick right, left, right. It's very, very easy to lose the back end as we move up into 15th comfortably. Oh no, not comfortably at all. And that was our corner, so I don't feel bad about that touch that he turned in on us there as we had the inside. And are we going to squeeze up into 14th? And so, yeah, this is looking much more positive. Yeah, obviously it's just a case of trying to get as few points as we can. We're not going to win this race, but I am sort of quite a bit faster than most of the pack in various places on this track. So not all the way through the track, but in a couple of places especially. And he puts a wheel on the gravel and somehow maintains speed. Again, that is the AI maintaining speed off track. But we've got the inside here, and we're just gonna ease him wide onto the grass, and he has to slow down. And so that is P13, and things are looking slightly better. You can see how slow they are in this as we clip this speed bump there, which we should really not try and do. But that is going to be P12 as we take much more speed than the AI through that right, left, right. So skipping ahead to lap 5 now, just at the start of the final lap. Things are looking quite good for a sort of small amount of points, which could make all the difference, as we're all over the back of someone. I can't read who that is. The sort of scenery is getting in the way of that. But yeah, I mean, here do we want sort of one extra point, or do we want to just try and bring this home? We'll just sort of see what opportunities present us as we sort of match them through the S's, get a better boost off that last corner, and going to try and pass around the outside. That's not going to work, and miss the braking point. Completely missed the braking point, sort of distracted by the battle, and that is P16 again. So everything that we've worked for over the past 5 laps is sort of erased away in one mistake. But yeah, I mean that obviously that is racing. So it's a question of, can we pull back anything at all as we take way too much speed, and that is what I'm talking about, losing the back end by trying to change direction too quickly in these Formula Rookies, which don't have much downforce and can't cope with that. And yeah, so we roll over the line in last place. Obviously that's disappointing, but there is 3 rounds, so 3 tracks, 6 races, part of this World Championship, so there's more time to recover from mistakes. So yeah, that's confirmation. 15th. Take 2 points for fastest lap. I guess that was. I sort of missed that. And so slightly better qualifying. Managed to bring ourselves up to 9th for the second race. And so off the line, not that well, but looking like we might be able to take a place or 2 here. Yeah, we're up to 8th, and we make the turn in, and well, it looks like we turned in, but somebody hits us. I'm gonna need a replay of that. I'm not sure whose fault it was. It felt like somebody hit us. Well, yeah, as you can see, there was someone on the inside, and we did not give him any room at all. That is completely my fault. Skipping ahead to, we've caught up with the rest of the pack now. It's lap 4. It's taken us 4 laps to recover from that and just get up to P16. Wheel on the grass, obviously, and I'm sort of tilting now, to use a poker term, with the way that this weekend has gone. But yeah, once again, totally my fault. I'm quick to blame the AI. Oh, and yeah, not proud of that as an overtake. Very messy, and yeah, again, once again, frustration, I think. So skipping ahead to lap 5 out of 6, and we lose the back end. I'm trying to take way too much. There's a nice handy little sort of very mini wall which we've managed to hit almost exactly dead on, so that's something, one achievement from this weekend, but nothing else really apart from a couple of fastest laps, and we are way down. I think that was, what was that, sort of 14 points off the P15, and we're 16. So yeah, incredibly disappointing trip to Japan. at the start of these World Championships. Now, what I'm doing here is just tuning setup. So as I mentioned in the last video, these Formula rookies are sort of, the default setting is a lot of oversteer. So I'm increasing the front springs and decreasing the back springs, which will mean that the front springs, which will mean that I get a lot more grip on the rear of my car. So just trying to make things more stable, because in most tracks I find that I'm quicker than the AI over a single lap, and it's mistakes that cost races. So trying to keep things a lot more stable, and just so instead of rolling over the line sort of 5 seconds ahead of them, it's rolling over the line 1 or 2 seconds ahead of them, but with more safety built in. And as you can see, qualifying goes a lot better than in Japan. Here in the USA at Sonoma, I don't know how to pronounce that, raceway. So yeah, pole position, and we really need sort of maximum points from this weekend to put ourselves back with any hope of taking this World Championship. So that's Daniel Breitschaft, I think, in second. So we get away sort of much better than him. And just going to try and take it very easy through these first corners. Daniel there on the back of us, like not letting up at all, putting us under pressure, making sure that we sort of try and guard the inside. But in fact, I think he makes a little bit of a mistake and puts a wheel or two on the gravel and the sand that surrounds this track in the desert in the United States. And so that gives us a little bit of breathing space and sort of half a second, just so we can try and stretch our legs, and we'll be able to pull away from him a little bit as we progress through the second half of this lap, which is where we're sort of slightly faster than the rest of the pack. So slightly faster in this second half in this sort of very high speed corners, and then running up to this chicane and hairpin, and we usually quicker than the AI on hairpins on project cars. That is one thing that I've noticed. So yeah, second half of the lap managed to pull away, but the first half of the lap through these sort of relatively high speed or medium speed corners, we tend to lose it a bit. But that again to do with our setup, so we've got much less turning. So skipping ahead to lap 5, we managed to with that sort of built-in stability into the rear end of the car, we managed to keep it on the track, and with a little gap, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. So this is exactly going to plan here. So roughly 2 seconds. So a comfortable gap to the AI, but nothing too much. And that's everything exactly to plan. So so this is a short version of Sonoma Raceway. I really should have learned how to pronounce that before I recorded this. But as you can see, we are once again ahead of Daniel Breitschaft, who I think is leading the championship at the moment, or certainly did okay in the first 2 races. Certainly better than we did. So once again, we've built in stability into the back end of the car, and we're just going to try and bring this home. Sort of I want no hairy moments of losing the rear end. So it looks like Gary Wackeln has managed to put himself in second, and he is very, very close to us. So he was right on the outside, but we managed to squeeze him off the track, I believe, as we struggle quite a lot through these first couple of medium speed corners, and again not taking much speed through that sharp right-hander, but we get away well and have built up not really a gap at all, because Wackeln is gonna make all of that up through as we sort of go slowly through these, and it's only about a second, but it's just enough, and this is what we need to do. Don't need to pull ahead by 7 seconds. We just need to keep ahead, keep a little gap, just make it comfortable so that they don't try anything up the inside. And you can see the sun is really affecting my speed through these first couple of corners, and Gary Wackowen right on our rear. But we managed to hold it together, and the final coming around the hairpin for this final time, lap 6 out of 6, and exactly what we needed to do after the disaster that was Japan. Come to the US, and it's 2 from 2, and that puts us right back in contention for the World Championship, hopefully. So there we are, Wackowen in second, Breakshaft in third, and there we go. We actually didn't get the fastest lap in race 2, which is again sort of a symptom of how I set the car up. We didn't set the car up to be necessarily quickest, we just set it up to take us over the line in first, and that is, so it's Daniel Breakshaft on 93 points, me on 66 points, and Christian Kugler in second on 74 points. So that is how the championship looks going into the last weekend. West Force down in 5th. As we return to Alton Park Island, which is where this season began, back in the British Championships. So Alton Park, part of the World Championships and the British Championships. So I'm just double checking my setup, and again we've got the front springs very high and the rear springs very low. We've qualified in first, and a completely dry qualifying, but as you can see, it's really not what we want to see, because it is just pissing it down here in the UK. And we go to guard the inside after a sort of medium getaway, but whilst guarding the inside, we take very little speed through that, and it's Sebastian Krugel, I think, who actually passes us around the outside as we've been trying to be very tentative. I haven't driven this track in the wet yet, and it's gonna really show. As soon as I realised it was raining, I think what I should have done is just gone and practiced a little bit in the wet, because I am not fully practiced, and so this is going to be trying to feel it out at the same time as maintaining first as we slide past Krugel and a bit sideways into that chicane, but basically keep it on the track, and things aren't actually looking too bad now as we go sideways once again as the corner is trying to find that balance of between sort of going sideways and taking as much speed as possible through the corners, and this fast right-hander coming up, and we gets really sideways and have to take to the grass, and that will be first place gone, with third place right on our tail, and in fact, yeah, we have to concede that. He had the speed going to that inside and sideways again, and it's such a struggle to keep this Formula Rookie pointing in the right direction in the wet. So I'm racing this on patch 1.4 and sideways again, and that will be a few more places. But yeah, and it's looking like the championship is over now. We really have to win or finish in the top 3 at least here, depending on where everybody else finishes. And it's not looking very likely at all. But yeah, so what I was saying is I'm racing on. It's giving me no time to say anything as we go into that final hairpin, too wide, take too much speed, and as we're sort of offline and on the outside, somebody gives us a tap, which has happened before in that corner, and I sort of knew it was coming. But yeah. That's P16, and that is obviously the championship gone. So wet races, as I said, I'm racing this on patch 1.4, and when patch 2.0 comes out, which it might already be out by the time you're listening to this for quite a while maybe, there's been some tweaks to the AI in the wet, so I'm sort of really looking forward to that, and I might wait and do the next until that patch becomes available, and do the championship on, do my next attempt at the whole season on patch 2.0, but there's no point in showing you much of the final race. We did win it. We did qualify first and finish first, and it was completely dry and sunny and everything was fine. But that's not gonna be enough. So yeah, we'll just wait and see where we actually finished in the final standings. There's confirmation of fastest lap in race 2, and we didn't actually finish in the top 3. So that's Daniel Breitschaft taking the championship, and that's 4th, and that's only 20 points off first. So I'm quite hopeful actually that, given a second attempt, with the AI being tweaked slightly in the wet, and with a bit more practice in the wet, because it's really the wet races and the wet qualifying where we managed to lose it. I've got hope for a second attempt. But that'll have to be in season 4. And so yeah, I hope you join me for that. I hope you've enjoyed this. Remember to leave a like if you did. That would be great. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.